Imagine a world where every barrier that slows down your growth, every invisible wall that blocks your path to scale, simply disappears. Not because you dismantle the system brick by brick, but because you move beyond it. Where scaling does not mean friction, headaches, endless bureaucracy, or the chaos of cultural mismatch. Instead, expansion happens as smoothly as breathing, as naturally as a conversation between strangers who instantly understand each other because they speak the same language of purpose. This is not just wishful thinking. This is what cosmopolitanism, the deep belief in the power of connected, fiercely independent individuals across the globe, offers to those hungry for authentic, frictionless scaling. Right now, the biggest headache for founders, investors, and leaders alike is this. Every step forward feels like pushing against 1,000 invisible bricks. Growth feels heavy, teams are fragmented, misaligned cultures clash, borders, geographical, ideological, cultural, trap potential, and turn promising ideas into battles of misunderstanding. You've felt it yourself, that crushing slowdown when the systems you rely on pretend to serve, but really just create noise. You crave speed, seamlessness, trust, but all you get is stalling. You watch your brilliant vision choke on red tape and the endless task of translating values across teams that don't really knit together. And it hurts because you know that underneath all this friction is not a lack of talent or desire. It's the absence of a new way to connect, a new framework to expand without losing the fire that first set you on your path. Here's the thing, scaling with less friction isn't about more spreadsheets, better management, or harder rules. It's about transcending the old idea of boundaries. It's about learning how to build a world without fences, where your talent, your ideas, your energies aren't fragmented by passports or protocols, but bounce freely within a global network of individuals who get you. That's the heart of cosmopolitanism, not in the political or superficial sense, but as a practical, ruthless embrace of the individual as a sovereign force with no strings attached. Imagine every new team member is not just an employee or a resource, but a fiercely independent collaborator who shares your fire, your urgency, your refusal to settle for mediocrity. They become not obstacles to alignment, but accelerators of it. Look closely. Scaling friction creeps in exactly where people think they must belong, to one system, one identity, one set of rules. When hierarchy or nationality or outdated norms rule the day, energy leaks. Creativity suffocates. Alignment fractures into endless meetings and micromanagement. But when you break free from those shackles, when you commit not to a place or a label, but to a mission that echoes across borders, something extraordinary happens. Communication becomes effortless. Collaboration channels light up. Decisions accelerate because trust is foundational, not something earned through reporting chains, but built in the space where individual sovereignty fuels collective fire. This is not theory. Real frictionless scaling happens when you activate what is most powerful about every individual involved. Their will to be sovereign, their ability to question everything, to redefine realities, to connect selectively with other rare sparks who burn like wildfire. Think about it. What if scaling meant weaving together a network, not a pyramid? What if leadership was less about control and more about curating alignment among those who refuse to be controlled? This is cosmopolitan scaling. No borders, no fixed loyalty, only dynamic, ruthless commitment to something bigger than any one flag. You might ask, what does this mean practically? How do you begin to build this frictionless ecosystem? Start by interrogating everything you take for granted, your assumptions about what teams must look like, what cultures you have to enforce, the rules you must live by. Break those illusions. Unlearn the script that says comfort equals safety, or that expanding means replicating more of the same old structures. Then fiercely select. Align only with those who resonate so loud with you that negotiations almost vanish. Embrace patience, not the impatience of bored urgency, but the kind that understands that true scaling, the kind that lasts and transforms, plays the long game. Build networks where difference is not a problem, but a diamond in your hands, where contrast sharpens strategy instead of dulling it. Inside these networks, trust becomes the oil that makes everything slick and smooth. But real trust doesn't come from contracts or hierarchies. It comes from shared understanding and freedom. That's why cosmopolitan scaling rejects the old idea that to work together, you must lose yourself or bend to uniformity. Instead, it says, keep burning your own unique fire. Align with others who burn just as fiercely. Let your differences be the source of your power, not conflict. When you connect individuals who dare to redefine their reality, extraordinary synergy happens. Not busy work, not bureaucracy, real impact. This isn't a feel-good vision. It's a call for ruthless action. What stops you from harnessing this power right now? It's fear. Fear of uncertainty, fear of losing control, fear of breaking the system. But that system is an illusion. It offers you safety by burying you in comfort zones that kill your fire. It promises freedom, yet feeds you mediocrity. The real freedom, the kind that scales frictionlessly, is unsettling, wild, unpredictable. But it's also the only way forward for those who refuse to wait for the world to catch up. Imagine for a moment a future where your growth isn't limited by geography or outdated expectations, where your network is made up of sovereign individuals, burning with uncommon skill and vision, ready to challenge every old rule and build new realities, where your imperfect, raw, brilliant network grows effortlessly because every piece moves with the same unstoppable force. This is not a fantasy. It happens every day, quietly, on the edges of what most people still think is possible. And you, as a founder, investor, or leader, can be one of those edge movers, one who discards the illusion of the system and builds instead from the raw power of cosmopolitan connection. Scaling frictionlessly means refusing to be boxed in by the assumptions that have defined business and life for centuries. It means being bold enough to say no to what's comfortable and yes to what's transformational. It means crafting a space where exceptional individuals, not just employees or numbers, come together not to conform, but to amplify each other's rare strengths. It's a rejection of noise and a celebration of essence, a shift from chasing belonging to crafting becoming. Here's the truth brutally laid bare. The old models of scaling are dying. The same old playbook that promised security and order has delivered chaos, inconsistency, and alienation. If you cling to legacy models, you'll only watch your vision fade in the fog of misalignment and slow failure. But if you dare to commit to the cosmopolitan path, if you start building networks built on sovereignty, trust, radical alignment, and fearless questioning, you'll unleash a power so huge it will feel like bending reality itself to your will. Stop waiting for the system to change. It won't. Instead, build around it, build through it, build beyond it. Assemble your team of rare individuals scattered across the world, bound not by borders or titles, but by the ferocity of their mission. Untangle your growth from local noise. Plug into a global network that moves fast because it is free. This is the path to scaling frictionlessly. This is the future for those who refuse half measures, who want full liberation, who know that true power lies not in complexity, but in the ruthless alignment of exceptional individuals moving as one. Right now, take a hard look at your world. What fences are slowing you down? What loyalty chains hold your vision back? What comfort zones cage your freedom? Then burn those chains, figuratively, but with fierce commitment. Find the sparks that refuse to dim, build with them, scale like a force of nature by igniting a network where each individual's fire grows without choking on the smoke of bureaucracy or conformity. This is not for the faint-hearted. It is for those ready to break free, not just to dream, but to act, not just to talk, but to create, not just to follow, but to lead from the edges. Because frictionless scaling is not a puzzle to solve. It's a power to embody. And cosmopolitanism is the path where that power walks free, wild, untamed, and unstoppable.